Well, I won't be seeing Ted this weekend, but I think I found something I would enjoy a bit more. This movie was requested to me by a good subscriber of mine, and this time I'm viewing 1986's Aliens, which this time, instead of being headed by Ridley Scott and being entirely a horror film, it's headed by James Cameron, who is a far better action director than, I would say, Ridley Scott. Now, the story to Aliens takes place, I believe, 70 years after the events of the first one, in which Ripley is awoken from, I believe, her hyperbolic sleep, I believe, and then she discovers soon after arriving back on Earth that the planet known as LV-426, which was the planet that they discovered, she discovered the xenomorphs, is now home to a colony which is designed to, say, make the planet inhabitable to live, and it takes generations to do. After telling the heads of the Weyland Corporation at the time of how dangerous these xenomorphs are and how they need to be destroyed, they lose contact with LV-426 and then ask her to come along this, I'd say, mission with a bunch of colonial marines to go to LV-426 and pretty much exterminate the xenomorphs. Now, these colonial marines kind of have some of the most arrogant attitudes, and they think it's going to be a simple walk in the park and that they've done this before, or as they like to call, bug hunt. Soon after they arrive on LV-426, they find out the situation is a lot worse than they had originally planned for, and instead of becoming a simple extermination mission, it becomes a we need to get the hell off the planet type of mission. And it leads to quite possibly one of the best finales of all time. Now, viewers, I'm just letting you all know right now, this is probably one of the few movies on my list that is perfect in every way. I really spent an hour before filming this trying to think of the flaws, and I can't think of any. Everything in this movie works. The atmosphere works because although we're not trapped on a ship, we're kind of trapped on a station where you know that these xenomorphs are everywhere, and it's not just one. So yeah, it kind of takes away the aspect of that these xenomorphs are hard to kill, which they clearly are not, but the fact that there's so many of them makes it a much more difficult challenge. And also, out of all the Alien films, and probably of many films, this probably has like the best cast of characters. They're just so interesting. You have Hicks, who's the leader. You have Vasquez, who's kind of the tough Tom girl type, who's really cool. You have Hudson, who's kind of that panicky Marine who, at the beginning of the movie, is, you know, he goes over and says, we're all bona fide badasses, and then soon after that, he's on the verge of wetting his pants. And really, Ripley really has probably, in my opinion, the strongest female character I've ever seen in the movie. She's not an all-and-out Tom girl, like, say, the girl in High Wire, and she's not one of those girls who just screams every time. She is vulnerable and scared at times, but she's not going to let that stop her from doing what it takes to survive. And in this movie in particular, she kind of takes a mother role, which I think would consider her being the most badass mom that ever lived. Now, if I'm ever requested to do my top 10 films list, this will definitely be on that list. And really, the only question I'm wondering is, if you're seeing this review, why haven't you seen this movie? It's that good. There's nothing I can say that hasn't already been said before. But I will state this. This is probably going to be a first so far on my show. And I would give Aliens a solid 10 out of 10. Perfect movie. Go check it out. And make sure you find the director's cut, because it actually has a couple of extra scenes that make this movie a bit better than the theatrical version. If you like this review, please like, comment down below, and subscribe up top to keep track of me and Batman Month and any future videos that I put out. And like always, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.